What if I told you that your favorite outfit actually belongs to a past decade? Whether you love crisp blazers, flowy dresses, or bold prints, your wardrobe might be telling a story older than you think. After years of analyzing fashion trends, I've uncovered how different generations shaped what we wear today. And wait until the end to see which era is making the biggest comeback today. If we could step back in time to the 1910s, we'd find ourselves in an era where elegance and structure defined fashion. Women dressed with a sense of formality that feels almost foreign to us today. Think high necklines, long flowing skirts, and layers of fabric designed to create a statuesque silhouette. The Gibson girl was the ultimate beauty standard, poised, feminine, and always polished. And for mature women, style meant refinement. Tailored suits with floor-length skirts were the go-to choice, often paired with lace blouses and gloves. Every outfit was intentional, and getting dressed wasn't just about function. It was an art. One of the most defining elements of 1910s fashion was the corset. Women had been cinching their waists for decades, but in this period, corsets started loosening slightly. Instead of the extreme hourglass figure of previous eras, the S-curve silhouette became the standard. It created a softer shape while still maintaining structure. Mature women, especially, leaned into this look with tailored jackets that accentuated the waist without being overly restrictive. If you've ever admired that old-world charm, it's because everything was designed to enhance a woman's natural grace. Speaking of elegance, fabrics played a huge role. Wealthier women opted for high-quality materials like silk and wool, while working-class women wore more practical cotton. But no matter their status, women of this era believed in quality over quantity. Their wardrobes were smaller, but each piece was made to last. And let's not forget the details. Lace, embroidery, and hand-stitched embellishments were common, even on everyday wear. Accessories were equally important. Hats were a must. Huge, extravagant creations often decorated with feathers and ribbons. A woman wouldn't step outside without a hat, gloves, and a structured handbag. And for older women, this sense of sophistication was even more pronounced. Darker, more muted colors were preferred, symbolizing wisdom and experience. If you were over 50 in the 1910s, you weren't chasing trends. You were embodying timeless grace. So, what can we take from this era today? Structure. The right tailoring can instantly elevate your look. While we've thankfully moved past corsets, a well-fitted blazer or a long flowing skirt can give you that regal elegance without discomfort. And don't be afraid of a little detail. Whether it's lace, pleats, or embroidery, small touches can make a big impact. Now, let's fast forward to the 1920s, where fashion takes a dramatic turn. Hemlines rise, silhouettes loosen, and women embrace a whole new kind of confidence. The 1920s were a complete rebellion against the past. After the rigid, structured styles of the 1910s, women were ready for something fresh and exciting. This was the decade of the flapper, the woman who cut her hair, raised her hemline, and danced until dawn. But while we often associate the Roaring Twenties with fringe dresses and Art Deco glamour, everyday fashion, especially for mature women, was a little different. Older women didn't necessarily jump on the flapper trend, but they did embrace a newfound sense of ease and movement in their clothing. For one, corsets were officially out. Instead of exaggerated hourglass shapes, dresses now had a straight drop-waist silhouette that skimmed the body rather than clinging to it. For women over 50, this meant elegant, flowing dresses that allowed for comfort while still maintaining sophistication. If you've ever worn a shift dress and felt how effortlessly chic it is, you have the 1920s to thank. Another big change? Fabrics became lighter, and embellishments became a form of personal expression. Beading, embroidery, and intricate patterns were everywhere. Women still loved details, but instead of stiff, structured designs, They gravitated toward more artistic and playful elements. And let's not forget color. While black and navy remained staples for evening wear, pastel tones and rich jewel shades became increasingly popular. Accessories were still essential, but they evolved. Instead of massive Edwardian hats, women opted for cloche hats, sleek, close-fitting designs that perfectly framed their short bob hairstyles. And speaking of hair, the bob was a revolutionary statement. While older women often kept their hair in softer, more classic styles, many embraced the shorter cut for its ease and modern appeal. So, what can we take from the 1920s today? The power of simplicity. A straight-cut dress, a beautiful beaded detail, or a structured hat can instantly add elegance to your look. And let's not forget the importance of comfort. Fashion should never feel restrictive. Next, let's step into the 1930s, where glamour and femininity make a grand return. The 1930s were all about soft elegance. After the playful rebellion of the 1920s, fashion took on a more refined, graceful approach. This was the era of old Hollywood glamour, where flowing silhouettes, bias-cut gowns, and figure-flattering designs took center stage. And for mature women, this was one of the most flattering fashion decades. Styles became more sophisticated, and the emphasis was back on dressing with grace. One of the biggest shifts was the return of the waistline. After a decade of drop-waist dresses, designers reintroduced fitted bodices that highlighted a woman's natural shape. But unlike the stiff corsetry of the past, these dresses draped beautifully over the body, creating a look that was both polished and effortless. Fabric choices were also key. Silk, satin, and velvet were popular, making every outfit feel luxurious. Even day dresses had a certain fluidity to them, often featuring delicate ruffles, soft pleats, and cinched waists that flattered rather than restricted. For accessories, hats were still popular, but they became more structured. Instead of the round cloche, women wore tilted, asymmetrical designs that added drama to their outfits. And let's not forget gloves. Whether for day or evening wear, a well-dressed woman wouldn't be caught without them. So, what can we take from the 1930s? The beauty of draping and feminine tailoring. Today, a well-cut dress in a high-quality fabric can make you feel effortlessly elegant. Now, let's move on to the 1940s, where fashion gets a little sharper and more practical. By this time, fashion had to adapt to a world at war. Fabric rationing meant that clothing became more practical, with a focus on durability and functionality. But that didn't mean women stopped being stylish. In fact, the 1940s gave us some of the most timeless wardrobe staples we still wear today, like tailored skirts, crisp blouses, and perfectly structured coats. Silhouettes became sharper. Shoulder pads were introduced to give women a stronger, more defined shape. And while skirts remained knee-length, they were often A-line or pencil cut, creating a structured yet feminine look. Despite fabric limitations, women still found ways to add beauty to their outfits. Accessories became the statement pieces. Bold brooches, structured handbags, and elegant gloves completed a look. So, what can we take from the 1940s? The power of tailoring. A well-structured blazer or a neatly fitted skirt can instantly elevate your outfit. If you want to incorporate the styles of the past into today's fashion, check out the description box below. I have added some links to the essential pieces you'll need to recreate these timeless looks. And that brings us to the next era, the ultra-feminine 1950s. If the 1940s were all about practicality and structure, the 1950s were a complete embrace of femininity. Women's fashion became softer, curvier, and more glamorous, almost like a reaction to the austerity of wartime. Think full skirts, nipped-in waists, and polished details. And for mature women, this decade was a dream because everything was designed to flatter the female form. One of the most iconic silhouettes of the era was the hourglass shape. Designers like Christian Dior led the way with the new look: cinched waists, voluminous skirts, and an emphasis on curves. If you've ever worn an A-line dress that made you feel elegant and graceful, you have the 1950s to thank. Women over 50 often opted for tailored skirt suits or sheath dresses, both of which offered a refined, sophisticated take on the trends of the time. Fabrics were luxurious, yet structured. Wool crepe, tweed, and cotton were staples for daytime, while silk and satin made an appearance for evening wear. Everything had a polished feel, from neatly pressed pleats to perfectly placed buttons. Women took pride in looking put together from head to toe. There was an intentionality behind every outfit choice. Accessories were just as important as the clothing itself. Pearls, gloves, and structured handbags were must-haves. And let's talk about shoes. Kitten heels became a staple, offering a touch of elegance without sacrificing comfort. A well-dressed woman in the 1950s knew that the right shoe could make all the difference in an outfit. Hair and makeup also played a huge role in completing the look. Soft curls, neatly pinned updos, and red lipstick were hallmarks of this decade. Even if a woman was just running errands, she made an effort to look polished. It was a time when dressing well wasn't just for special occasions. It was part of daily life. So, what can we take from the 1950s today? Well, the art of dressing intentionally. A well-fitted blazer, a flattering dress, or a simple strand of pearls can instantly make you feel elegant. And let's not forget the power of good tailoring. Nothing elevates a look like clothes that fit beautifully. Now, let's step into the 1960s, where fashion takes a bold, modern turn. If the 1950s were all about curves and femininity, the 1960s were about breaking the mold. This was the decade when fashion became daring, experimental, and youthful. The clean-cut elegance of the past gave way to shorter hemlines, bold prints, and a brand-new attitude toward style. For mature women, the shift was gradual. While teenagers and young adults were embracing mini-skirts and go-go boots, older women leaned into the sleek, sophisticated side of 60s fashion. Shift dresses became incredibly popular, simple, streamlined, and effortlessly chic. They skimmed the body without clinging, making them a fantastic choice for women over 50 who wanted to look modern but not overly trendy. Another defining trend is monochrome dressing. The 60s introduced a love for clean lines and high-contrast color blocking like black and white combos, sharp A-line coats, and mod-inspired details. If you've ever worn a structured coat with a knee-length dress and chic flats, you've captured the essence of this decade. Fabrics also changed dramatically. While the 50s were about structured, tailored materials, the 60s saw a rise in synthetic fabrics like polyester and acrylic. These new materials allowed for more futuristic, space-age-inspired fashion. Though, let's be honest, not all of them aged well. Accessories became more geometric and bold. Large sunglasses, structured handbags, and statement earrings were the go-to finishing touches. Shoes also got an update. Block heels and low, square-toe pumps were both stylish and practical for mature women. The biggest shift, though, was in the mindset. Women were embracing more freedom in their clothing choices, experimenting with new shapes and styles. Fashion was no longer just about elegance. It was about expressing personality. And that brings us to the 1970s, where fashion takes an even bigger leap into self-expression. The 1970s were a time of relaxed, effortless fashion. After the structured styles of previous decades, women embraced flowing fabrics, earthy tones, and a mix of bohemian and tailored pieces. If the 60s were about breaking the mold, the 70s were about finding individuality within fashion. For mature women, the 70s offered some of the most timeless wardrobe staples we still wear today. Wide-leg trousers became a must-have, comfortable, flattering, and endlessly stylish. Paired with a fitted blouse or a sleek turtleneck, This look was both sophisticated and modern. Dresses also changed. The rigid silhouettes of past decades gave way to wrap dresses, made famous by Diane von Furstenberg. These dresses flattered every body type, defining the waist while still allowing for movement and comfort. If you've ever worn a wrap dress and felt instantly put together, you have the 70s to thank. Color palettes shifted towards earth tones. Warm browns, deep oranges, and muted greens dominated fashion. Patterns like paisley and bold florals became popular, but in a more natural, organic way compared to the sharp geometric patterns of the 60s. Accessories took on a relaxed elegance. Oversized sunglasses, soft leather handbags, and long pendant necklaces completed the look. Instead of overly polished ensembles, the goal was to look effortlessly chic. The biggest takeaway from this era is that fashion should feel good. Clothes were designed to be lived in, not just admired. Today, we still turn to the 70s for its perfect blend of comfort and style. But if you thought fashion was about to settle down, the 1980s had other plans. Now, let's talk about one of the boldest fashion decades, the 1980s. This was the era of big shoulders, bold colors, and an unapologetic embrace of power dressing. Women weren't just making statements with their clothes, they were using fashion to claim space. For mature women, the 80s offered a mix of sophistication and boldness. Power suits became a wardrobe staple. Structured blazers with strong shoulders, pencil skirts, and silk blouses created a commanding presence. Women were stepping into leadership roles in the workplace, and their fashion reflected that confidence. Dresses also had a structured feel, often with exaggerated shoulders and cinched waists. Bold jewel tones, metallic fabrics, and even sequins made their way into evening wear. If you've ever worn a statement blazer with a pair of heels, you've captured the essence of 80s power dressing. Accessories were just as bold. Chunky jewelry, oversized earrings, and statement belts added drama to every outfit. Even handbags got bigger because working women had things to carry. One thing that stands out from this decade is the confidence behind the fashion. Women weren't afraid to be seen. The 80s taught us that style is a tool. It can make you feel powerful, elegant, and completely in control. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which decade do you think had the best fashion for mature women? Are you drawn to the elegance of the 50s, the minimalism of the 60s, the effortless chic of the 70s, or the boldness of the 80s? Let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to read your thoughts. After the bold, power-dressing era of the 80s, the 1990s took a sharp turn toward minimalism. Women traded in their oversized shoulder pads and glitzy sequins for sleek silhouettes, muted colors, and effortless styling. This was the era of understated luxury, where simplicity became the ultimate statement. For mature women, the 90s offered an elegant balance between structure and ease. Tailored pantsuits replaced the exaggerated power suits of the 80s, with softer lines and neutral palettes. Think of brands like Calvin Klein and Armani, which championed sleek, monochromatic dressing. Slip dresses became a major trend, popularized by the supermodels of the decade. While the ultra-thin spaghetti straps may not have been ideal for mature women, the concept of fluid, body-skimming dresses was flattering at any age. Casual wear also had its moment. The 90s popularized relaxed denim. Straight leg and bootcut jeans became the go-to silhouette. Paired with a crisp white blouse or a cashmere sweater, this look remains timeless. And let's not forget the emergence of quiet luxury, where high-quality fabrics and impeccable tailoring replaced flashy logos and over-the-top styling. Accessories followed the same minimalist approach. Small shoulder bags, delicate gold jewelry, and sleek mules or loafers completed the look. The goal wasn't to over-accessorize, but to choose pieces that felt refined and intentional. The biggest takeaway from the 90s is the power of simplicity. A well-fitted blazer, quality fabrics, and classic silhouettes will never go out of style. And speaking of evolving style, let's move into the 2000s, where fashion became playful, experimental, and a little unexpected. If the 90s were all about minimalism, the 2000s swung the other way, embracing maximalism, experimentation, and a mix of contrasting styles. This decade was defined by bold trends, from low-rise jeans to flashy embellishments. One of the biggest shifts was in denim. Bootcut and flared jeans carried over from the 90s, but the 2000s introduced more dramatic silhouettes like ultra-low rises and wide leg styles. While low-rise jeans weren't necessarily practical for women over 50, high-quality denim brands started offering mid-rise and straight-leg options that were both flattering and contemporary. Layering also became a major trend. Women started mixing textures and silhouettes in new ways, pairing long tunic tops with leggings or layering tailored blazers over casual tank tops. This was also the era of statement belts, cinching everything from dresses to oversized tops. If you ever wore a wide belt over a flowing blouse, you were right on trend. Luxury fashion saw a rise in logos and designer monograms. Brands like Louis Vuitton and Gucci made their mark with bold branding. But for mature women, timeless leather bags and structured totes remained the go-to accessories. The 2000s also popularized large sunglasses and chunky jewelry, pieces that added instant drama to any outfit. Shoes were equally bold. While stilettos and platform heels were everywhere, comfortable yet stylish options also emerged. Kitten heels, ballet flats, and sleek boots became staples for everyday wear, offering a polished look without sacrificing comfort. So, what can we take from the 2000s today? It was a decade that encouraged self-expression through fashion. Whether it was layering, playing with proportions, or embracing statement accessories, it reminded us that style should always be personal. Now, let's talk about the 2010s, where fashion embraced both comfort and sophistication in a way we hadn't seen before. This was the decade where comfort became just as important as style. We started to notice the rise of athleisure, relaxed tailoring, and effortless everyday dressing. It was also when the concept of a capsule wardrobe became popular, focusing on quality over quantity. For mature women, this was a great decade. Style became more inclusive, with brands offering well-tailored pieces designed for all body shapes. One of the biggest trends was the resurgence of structured outerwear. Long wool coats, tailored blazers, and classic trench coats made a major comeback. These timeless pieces elevated any outfit and remain wardrobe staples today. Casual dressing also saw a major shift. Athleisure became more than just gym wear. It became a way to look stylish while staying comfortable. Women paired sleek leggings with oversized sweaters or structured jackets, making it possible to feel put together without sacrificing ease. Denim continued to evolve, with skinny jeans becoming a dominant trend. However, straight-leg and high-rise jeans gained popularity, offering a more classic and flattering silhouette. These styles were a nod to the timeless cuts of past decades while still feeling modern. Accessories became more understated. Delicate gold jewelry, structured handbags, and minimalist shoes like loafers and mules replaced the bold, oversized accessories of previous decades. The goal was to create an effortless yet polished look. One of the biggest takeaways from the 2010s is the shift toward quality investment pieces. Women started moving away from fast fashion and instead focused on building a wardrobe of timeless essentials. And speaking of timeless trends, let's talk about which era is making a huge comeback today. Fashion is always cyclical, and we're seeing a major revival of one particular era. If you've been paying attention to the latest collections, street style, and how women are dressing today, you might have already guessed which decade is back in full force. But if not, let me give you a hint. It's a mix of elegance, minimalism, and strong silhouettes. Are you ready? Let's talk about the era that's influencing fashion right now, That's right. The 90s are officially back in the 2020s, and they're influencing everything from tailoring to casual wear. The clean lines, monochrome outfits, and effortless sophistication of this decade are more relevant than ever. Designers are bringing back sleek slip dresses, structured blazers, and straight-leg jeans, but modernized with high-quality fabrics and fresh styling. Women over 50 can embrace this trend beautifully. The key is to focus on classic, well-fitted pieces, like a tailored wool coat, a crisp button-down, or a sleek midi dress. Instead of chasing trends, it's about curating a wardrobe that feels both timeless and modern. And the best part? 90s-inspired fashion is all about making everyday dressing effortless. One of the biggest shifts has been the return to quality over excess. Women are investing in timeless, well-made pieces rather than following fast-moving trends. Capsule wardrobes, sustainable fabrics, and neutral palettes have taken center stage, making style more about longevity than seasonal fads. This focus on minimalism, clean lines, and tailored silhouettes. What's exciting about the 2020s is that it's not just about replicating past styles, it's about modernizing them. The 90s comeback is being done in a way that's more polished, more wearable, and better suited for today's lifestyles. Whether it's a sleek monochrome outfit with clean tailoring or a simple slip dress layered under a structured jacket, this trend is proof that some styles truly stand the test of time. If you enjoyed this look back at the evolution of fashion, then you're going to love this next video where I talk about the best color combinations that flatter mature women. Understanding how to pair colors can make all the difference in your wardrobe, and in this video, I'll show you the most flattering combinations that will instantly elevate your style.